Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and this is going to be a wrap-up instead of a vlog because there wasn't anything particularly interesting to film this week. So I'm just going to tell you what I read for the last week of June. And I put off filming this because I wanted to film it with my home background, with my books behind me, but I'm dog sitting this week and I really haven't had time to film at home. So I brought my setup over to the dog's house, or at least part of it. I forgot my tripod, so I have to hold this. Here's the dog. This is Lux, short for Lux Ray. He's a poodle mix, I don't know what kind. So first, let's start with Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. I started this in the previous week and told you a little bit about it. But to recap, this is a 16-year-old lesbian Latina girl who is switching schools, partly so she can be at a private school that her brother got a scholarship to, and partly to get away from her ex-friend who outed her at her previous school. It was a small scale outing, so our main character's mother still doesn't know, and our main character is very nervous about her mother finding out because the things that her mother has said about gay people makes her think she might get kicked out. Our main character's name is Yamilet and her brother's name is Cesar, and I really like their relationship. They are really sweet together. I think he's a year or so younger than her, and he's their mother's favorite, but he doesn't use that to like talk down to his sister or anything. He actually uses it to try to get his sister out of trouble sometimes. The dog is trying to get toys out of his toy box. And yeah, their relationship is really, really sweet. So the private school they're going to is Catholic. So that is also not a great place for gay people in this case, because not all Catholic schools are anti-gay, but this one is. Yamilet also makes a friend with the only out gay girl at this Catholic school, and they are also really cute together, and there's a romance, and I just really enjoyed it. Though I have the physical copy, I actually finished it via audiobook because all I wanted to do this week was play video games, and so I listened to audiobooks while I played video games. I love this though, and I'm really glad that I own it because I can reread it at my leisure. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. Then I listened to the audiobook of Dear Mothman, which I also loved. This is about a young trans boy who is dealing with a lot of grief. He's also autistic because he lost his friend, his best friend, who was also a trans boy. And our main character, Noah, is not out to anyone. And his best friend was also not out. So while the text always refers to our main character as Noah, like the narrative voice, sometimes the school or Noah's parents will talk about him with his previous name. And so Noah's best friend was really interested in Mothman. There is a science fair coming up, and what the best friend had wanted to do for the science fair was a project about Mothman. And so as a way of dealing with his grief, our main character starts writing letters to Mothman and wants to do his science project about Mothman. And so this starts a journey of a lot of diary entries, sort of, that are letters to Mothman. And he also does end up making a few friends, and they end up also being interested in Mothman and wanting to join in on this quest to find him. And there's a big theme of monsters and cryptids are like comforting to queer people because of how they are different from everyone else and how they are rejected and not socially acceptable, and nobody understands, and how queer people can find comfort in cryptids and monsters and things like that because of those parallels. And yeah, that was really interesting, and yeah, I just really enjoyed reading it. I haven't actually looked up if the author is autistic or not, but I thought that the representation was really well done, and I really love Noah and also Noah's friends. So it was very sweet, and lots of like acceptance of transness, just everybody being really, really sweet. So another 5 stars. I finally finished V, which I've been working on for quite a while. Who is the author? By Aura Marquez. This is about an autistic vampire who's also Chicana and queer, and the author's all of those things as well. It was hard to find a plot for the first 30%. I kind of finally figured out what was going on for like main plot at like 35%. So there's a lot of setup and like establishing what the main character's life is like before this sort of kickoff of the main plot, which involves V being recruited to work for basically the government and enforcement agency of the vampires. So she gets sent to a facility where they train the vampires to fight and like be enforcers of vampire rules, which is basically don't attract too much attention to us so we don't get all the humans wanting to exterminate us type thing, but also kind of passing on the mores of vampire society. And there's a lot of talk about the accommodations that V makes for herself and how she has been unmasking for the last several years, and how it's really hard to put that mask back on when she has to go to this facility. I enjoyed it a fair amount. It's indie published and probably could have used some more editing, but generally I really enjoyed it. A lot of the characters that are that V makes friends with are also Latine, mostly from areas of Mexico. One of her friends she's been friends with for a long time at the beginning of the story, so we don't really see the development of that. We just see the final product. And some of her other friends are like kind of insta super friendship, so like the development isn't totally there. But there was a plot explanation for that, in that our main character is really good at sensing people's souls and like who they are as a person, so she knows who to let her guard down around. And so yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm very interested in following the rest of this series and anything else this author writes, and I gave it 4 stars. So on the subject of the Queerlet Readathon and the Diverse Pride Readathon, so V checked off for the Diverse Pride Readathon bingo indie book, and Dear Mothman checked off Disabled MC. Dead Girls Walking, that I read last week, checked off horror and YA. And then Under the Idolatries, which I also read last week, checked off historical and sapphic. And then for the Queerlet Readathon, Under the Idolatries checked off group read and Black History. Dead Girls Walking checked off creepy queers and The Great Outdoors, because it's set pretty much outdoors at a summer camp. V checked off mental health, because our main character struggles with her mental health, and magic, because it is super natural stuff. Oh, The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School checked off rainy day read, because I had indeed been putting it off, and also it was very comforting and just generally really made me feel good while I was reading it. So yeah, on Diverse Pride Readathon bingo, I checked off 13 out of 16 challenges, and for the Queerlet Readathon, I checked off also 13 out of 16, and got several bingos on each. So I think I'm happy with how I did for each of those. And I generally had a really good time reading this month, so that's really nice. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!